Now, when I was growing up, I used to hear the narcissistic parents saying things like, "You stupid bastard," you know, bastardy. I didn't make so much sense of those words at the moment, at that time. But with time, I was evolving. I did my own research, and then I would finally know what those words meant. There was a lot of them. I cannot go through the whole list. Bastard, stupid. If you do this, it can't work. If you don't listen to your parents, you're going to fail. So the conditioning was very heavy. It was very intense. And as the time went on, now this is my own story. Some of you guys may resonate, maybe the black sheep. You may understand where I'm coming from. And if you feel you have your own say, the platform is open. Tell us how your experience has been. So the conditioning was very intensive. So I'm growing up, you're a kid, and you're constantly hearing these things that make you even doubt what is going on in your life. That is called subconscious programming. It may even sometimes be not real, you know, but your brain is going to actually take it as it's real. This is like a real situation. So the mind doesn't know anything between good and bad. What the mind hears is what happens, what your reality becomes. So some of you guys have grown up in different families, cultures. It could have been a religion. Your religion told you your faith. Let's talk about the faith. Whatever faith you grew up in, they told you this is what you need to do. No sex before marriage. We are this kind of tribe, whatever faith. We don't eat pork. You are like this. You can marry 5 wives. You can go on and on and on. We can go on forever. But there's something what I want to say. Most of the life that we've been living, it has been a result of preconditioning. So, in other words, we are walking on a timeline that doesn't authentically belong to us. We are walking and moving around along with someone else's timeline. It has nothing to do with us. When a person has conditioned you not to have self-esteem, for example, you go all throughout life, you fear everything. Oh, what will so and so think? Am I good enough? A lot of these narcissistic parents, they will never give you credit for anything. So you always be struggling for their validation. Am I worth that job? Am I worth this partner? Can I really do it? Because my father said this, because my mother said this. Now, one day, along your path, you realize that there is something wrong with there's something going on that you need to understand. So what you do, you're putting everything up for question. you're starting to reevaluate the things your parents used to say. You're starting to reevaluate the things you had in church. And you're putting all the dots and you're realizing some of those things don't make sense. There's a missing link and you want to find out what it is. It won't take you long, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, post-awakening, before you will figure out everything that has been happening was conditioning. So this video, we are talking about deprogramming. There's the programming and then deprogramming. Conditioning, deconditioning. That is where the challenge is. Now remember, for the longest of time, you are walking along a path. You are on a timeline that is not yours. Now when you wake up and you finally know what is the truth, the very first thing you do, you will realize where the problem started. So what you do now, you first of all remove those people. I can even give you another one, even before we continue. I used to hear things like, the parent is always right. What your father says, that's right. You cannot question your parent. You cannot question authority. You cannot question your bishop. You cannot question your pastor. You cannot question your teacher. So we have been told that whatever happens, we need to accept and allow whatever it is being told. But now I grow up, I wake up, and I realize, no. I can't question the parent. Because now I understand who the parent is. The parent is dysfunctional. So why do you expect me to continue believing in what the parent says when I actually know, confirm that parent is dysfunctional? So what I do, or what you could do, you release that family. So if you're the black sheep of the family, what you do, you release, you let them go. And you go back and focus on yourself and you try to rewire the mind. So in the early days, weeks, months, post-awakening, that is exactly what I was doing. That was actually the activity that took most of my time. Reprogramming the mind. Now, when you're reprogramming the mind, that means that you are actually destroying old beliefs. All those things that you thought was real, you no longer believe in the things your parents say because now you understand they are broken, they are dysfunctional, they are wounded, they are narcissists, whatever. So you're now revisiting your life day by day. You want to know what's going on. That is going to be actually that process of deprogramming and reprogramming the mind. It can cause somebody to have a mental breakdown. So in reality, there's people that wake up and they're going to have a mental breakdown because all their belief system has been crushed. The awakening is what will actually happen to you, and it will crush down every entire belief you've ever had from day one. Everything you thought was real, it crashes down. As it's crashing down, you're now reprogramming the mind. So you can now start telling yourself, because the people that was responsible for that programming, most of the time they are, some of them are dead, some of them have moved to different cities, they're no longer there. Now you're the one that is left to do the work to make sure that you now start telling yourself all those things that you want to hear. So back in those years when I was starting, I did some subconscious programming, affirmations. I listen to some meditation music. I used to spend a lot of time. I still do meditate, but it's not as intensive as it used to be back in those years. It was very intensive because remember that when you're doing this reprogramming, I've told you everything will crash all the way down. All your belief systems you had, everything crashes down, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to let it go. People can actually go crazy. People can go berserk post-awakening. If you guys don't understand this, and if you don't know this, I want you to know that people can actually go crazy the very moment they wake up. In a few months, you're going to see somebody's like going to very deep states of depression because now they realize everything wasn't real. Everything they ever told them, the things they learned in school, in their churches, and from their parents, everything was fake. So sometimes your mind can go in overload. What causes the mental breakdown normally is the overload. Your mind gets overwhelmed because all the years of your life until the moment of awakening, you are destroying and crashing all belief systems. Because you see, the reason why you have to do this, is simply because you don't have another option. You can either continue with that programming and go that direction you've always gone, or you can start deprogramming and you create a new path for you. That is one of the most difficult things, the heaviest things I've ever had to deal with, the deprogram. Because you can no longer see people the same. You can no longer see family the same. The way they look, the way you see them, the way you perceive them, everything will shift instantly. And slowly, one bit at a time, you're going to see your life starting to take off. There's going to be some revelations you will have. It could be directions intuitively. You may now start to see, okay, now that's the life I want to create. And one step at a time, you're going to start moving a certain direction that you've always wanted to go. And I can promise you, it's going to be a matter of time before you're going to start seeing results. So when I removed personally the people that was responsible for the programs that wasn't serving me, when I removed all those people, especially the narcissistic parent, because when I had to disconnect from the family dysfunction and everything, and I started doing the program, reprogramming my mind, I started to evolve. I started to grow. I started to find the people like me, my soul tribe. I started to connect with people on the similar journey. And now I'm looking back and I'm thinking that was the path that I was supposed to take. It was the path. There was no other way. Sometimes I tell people and I tell you guys, it's going to be hard for you guys to disconnect with parents, family, and everything. It's going to be hard. But there comes a time when you don't have an option because you're fed up of cycles. You're fed up of these loops, the belief systems, all those things that they have been putting in your head that didn't have anything to do with you. You're fed up of everything. And the only way forward is to break everything because that's what they call a cycle breaker. So the people who choose to stop going forward with the belief systems and the lies and everything, those are the people they call the cycle breakers. Those people, they can break out of anything. They have already understood the pain because anybody that breaks a cycle understands the intensity of that process of breaking a cycle. So they've already done it, they can do it again. Because why? Because they know the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a person who is struggling, you're starting to realize that your life is going a certain direction that doesn't serve you, pushing you towards a certain direction you don't want to go, you have to understand that's a program. It's a subconscious programming that has been happening for so many years you wasn't even aware of it. It's like, for example, when you used to date a narcissist, you can now remember all the junk they used to tell you, all the gaslighting, all this abuse. So you remember everything in detail. And what you do, you say, okay, I will not participate.
Come on. No, come on. Next one. Stanley, look.
So basically, you refuse to participate and you have to go back to the beginning, okay? And you will always understand that all these years you've been with this person, they have put you on a certain path at a certain frequency that wasn't meant for you. So you break the cycle. So for the cycle breakers, I want to give you encouragement. In this video, I want to continue to motivate you. I want to tell you, I know it's too hard. It has been very difficult. I know. I really pretty much understand everything. But breaking the cycle will start with you, okay? If you ask me, yes, I will tell you it's not easy. It's not going to be easy to leave people behind. It's not going to be easy to break away from your church, your faith, belief systems, your parents. Everything that you ever thought was real, it was fake. And you have to recreate everything from the start, from the beginning. Is why they call it a reboot. You're rebooting the entire system. So it's very painful. The brain, sometimes I've told you, it can go into overload, where you feel like you don't even know what you're doing with yourself. Sometimes you're like, what am I even doing? You can see the results here and there, but sometimes you're gaslighting yourself because you've been used to people gaslighting you. Hello. Hey. Hey, dog. Yeah. So you have to start from the beginning. You have to make sure that you create and follow the path that is going to serve you. Anything that does no longer align with where you want to go, it has to go. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no other way around it. Sometimes I wish I could tell you something different, but you have to let things go. Partner, toxic husband, toxic parents, elders, let them go. You have got to release those people, let them go, because it is the only way you're going to be able to recreate yourself into the version of the person that you want to be. Okay, so it's been a motivational video for the cycle breakers. I hope you guys resonate. Like the channel, share, and subscribe. You always know I do love and appreciate the support. Please book a session. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll see you guys in my next one. Denzo Mos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.